But yeah, because I keep having that too, where I need to pay attention to the planetary things, and you're saying to look at the moon cycles. So,
Yes.
what does that look like?
Well, when I go by the moon, at first I go by the full moon and what type of full moon. If it's a strawberry full moon, if it's a super moon,
Okay.
I know there's a lot of energy and a lot of emotional energy.
Okay.
Now, and I also decide, okay, so I want people to be able to release, but also um, be replenished. So I may find a crescent moon
Mm.
that's a little bit more suited for them to grow, to release, and then start to grow with more light. See, people do a lot of full moon rituals, but
Mm-hmm.
after the full moon is decreasing, the light is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means a lot. That means a lot.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the light
Okay.
is leaving, so it means a lot. And what it means is that it's good for removing, detoxing.
Okay.
The first 10 days um, from a full moon is the best time to detox.
Okay. I could see
Right,
that. Yeah.
right, right. And the purpose of that is because you, and if you do, if you, oh, okay, I'm there. And I don't know if it's the waxing or waning. I never follow the
Is
words.
it 10 days after or before the full moon?
It's 10 days after.
After. Okay.
Right. Okay, so after the full moon, great for detoxing. Um, 10 days before or 2 weeks before, great for adding in. I
Mm.
call it adding in. And adding in would be um, new moon, definitely great for adding in.
Okay. So that makes sense. As the energy is picking up, you add, and okay, I see.
So when the
I
full
see.
moon, it's I want whatever I planted, and that part of it is the root. A new moon is your root.
Okay.
So you want it to go through your tree of life, all the way up to your crown. That's where the fullness comes when it comes to your crown.
Okay.
So it's going to travel all up each chakra. It's going to travel all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets to the crown, it's the full moon. That's the actualization. That's it bringing it into the physical realm
Okay.
for you, depending. Now, when two or more shall gather, meaning it will magnify. But what they don't tell you is that the people that are gathering have to be on the same frequency,
Okay.
or it will confuse your manifestation.
And so when you're getting on the same frequency, do you need an outside thing to both be focusing towards, or do you both just agree, like, this is what we're focusing on?
I kind of do it with singing bowls.
Yes. Okay.
I kind of do it with singing. I have to do because there's static in people's minds,
Yes.
and it's just we live with it. And so this is if I'm going to do it with people, I want to make sure that everyone is on the same accord, relaxed,
Hmm.
focused. I mean, we're thinking it, but we have to be it. If not just for that 10 to 15 minutes, we have to embody what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And by visualizing it. And Imagineering is a little stronger. I'm working on people in Imagineering. Imagineering is programming your thoughts before you do the manifestation. Getting into, and sometimes I use movies to open up different areas of creative expression.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I might listen to a song
Mm-hmm.
that opens up different areas of creative expression. I'm kind of opening up myself wider so I can use all of my imagination
Mm-hmm.
to bring it into the physical realm. Now, people say, well, what does that mean, imagineering? It means like it's basically um, calling it as it is and walking it like it is. Someone wants to say, what is it in a nutshell? It's just calling it like it is and walking it like it is. Easier said than done. Calling it like it is doesn't mean you turn, have lunch, and then you call it. No, you get in position to make that level of divine call to the universe. Your whole mind must be set, and it's not a forceful thing. It's not a thing I have to force to see. It's the thing that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I got in for this. And so with me, if I was and I am, I'm starting to imagine a more global reach for me. Well, I have to look at foreign movies. I have to look at foreign movies. I have to feel the energy. So when I'm imagining it, when I'm thinking of Europe or I'm thinking of Africa, I'm thinking that I'm literally thinking and visually seeing that. And it's not in a way that it's just flat. I'm pinpointing the country. I'm pinpointing the people. I'm pinpointing the culture. It's not the whole culture. It's just that part where I'm like, I feel more comfortable there.
Makes sense.
Right. So sometimes it's Bali. A lot of people want to go to Bali. I want to go to Bali. I want to go to Bali. I feel anything. I'm like, Imagineering and some of these things, manifestation doesn't work. It works, but it'll take a long time.
That's really weird. You said Bali. I literally just watched something yesterday all about Bali.
Yeah.
That's really odd.
Yeah.
That's
It's just click.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
odd.
It's a call out for you guys. And what I mean by call out for you, for the younger generation, there are parts of this planet that will not, you have to go to it. Like we have I think in my generation, it was a call out for Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got there, we were like, oh yeah, I don't think I could have gotten any further than where I was if I had not gone to Sedona and the way I go to Sedona. And I'm finding a lot of younger groups. Everyone's like, I'm going to Bali. I'm like, well, okay, so that must be your call out. Well, let me help you with that. Pinpoint it. Good thing you live in an international city. So you can pull some of that energy from just your own city, which is probably best. Because it resonates. The people that you're pulling it from, they know both cultures. So it's not heavily weighted on one culture and not on another, because you're not losing your culture, you're sharing it.
Okay.
And so you have to go in a place where people will be open to you sharing it.
Okay.
And that's when you imagineer it in your imagination. I try not to add any music, words.
Mm-hmm.
Once I'm done with the focus of it, with maybe music and words, I'm done. Because now it has to be my voice, it has to be my words, it has to be so I have to hear, because that's the tool that I'm going to use to build in my imagination exactly what I want.
Okay.
It's no one else's vibration. It's really about sovereignty. Most of this is really about being sovereign. Like being empowered to guide your life through your own thought process. Understanding that there is another thought process or program that you were laid upon just to exist.
Yeah.
Just as a system to exist. It's not there to make you better, it's not there to make you worse. They have corrupted it, yes, but the basic system is just a civilization that you were born into. And so when you begin to claim your sovereignty, and that's what the ascension process is. The spiritual awakening it is, but the ascension process most definitely is about sovereignty. The teachings of ascension is about sovereignty.
One question I have about, we always say like, they're doing it to us, or like they're corrupting, my big question, and I think I understand, but at the very core of all of that, is this, we're doing it to ourselves, or is this there is a they, and then there is a we? Is there
Yes.
two different?
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that could be confusing for a while. And it's just because they interplay sometimes.
Right.
They interplay sometimes. So let me offer some clarity on that. Ultimately, we are doing it to ourselves, but the we encompasses the they.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and the they encompasses the we. The theys are us that are damaged, that don't see love, unconditional love. They see control. They're using their human power to create a world where there is control of others because they don't have control.
Yes.
And so they are us, and they will learn, and we mean by us, meaning they are part of the human race, and but they will learn that part through us. They're not going to learn it through the earth. We're going to turn to them and say, and we know exactly what you're doing. And we don't have to fight you. We can all just sit in our house and say, I am not for that, and watch how your world changes from being basically the oppressor to the oppressed. Because you're going to have to learn that lesson because we talk to you too long. So we know that you're not. You know what you're doing. But the only way to stop you from that is that you experience what you're given. It's the mirror effect. It's like we're not doing anything extra to you. You're just going to be the person that you oppressed. And we've talked to you. And hopefully you don't have to stay in that position for long.
Right.
Hopefully you'll just do maybe a short time and say, oh, I don't want this. Oh my gosh, what did I do? But that's our hope. Is it going to happen? We just hope so. If not, then hey, that's what that path is for you. And not that we were not you.
Exactly. Yes. 100%.
Right. This is the lesson that we're probably learning from, and that's why we're ascending. We're like, okay, I've learned it. You can't fake forgiveness. You can't fake forgiveness. And so when we forgive, we're not forgiving in a sense of because I need to be free. We're forgiving in the sense of universal law. I'm not holding you in my energy anymore. Like I don't want to hold you in my energy. I don't want to understand this like that. I'll let the collective handle it. Like I don't have to solve every problem that I have at one time. Sometimes stuff just works its way out because we're spiritual. We're not regular people. So sometimes we have to tell ourselves like, hey, get yourself off the hook with this because you're not living a regular life.
Yeah, so, I'm not trying to be, personally, I'm just not trying to be a martyr. Like.
Right, I'm not trying to be a martyr. I'm not trying to do all those things. I have enough.
Yeah.
But with your generation, I think what's beautiful about your generation is that you're also transitional people because we're still alive in your world. And that you get the newer energy, but you also get the older energy.
Definitely.
And so what's good about you and your world is that what took us a long time to do, like even here, it took me years to get people to come here, will probably take you one summer. But we know that. You don't know that.
No, I don't.
No, we know, but we know that because we've seen it, we've done it.
Okay.
That's why we're like, oh no, all you need is to take one summer, but we will mentor you and say, but you got to stand here even though no one's here.
I just need help getting over that first hump. Like I just need guidance of. I feel that that's true. I feel like I need to hold this space here, wherever.
Yeah.
But and there's no but really. I'm going to do that. I'm just trying to because it is Imagineering at its finest because I've never done it. So it's like, okay, I need to just do that. I need to make this what I know it should be.
Right.
And so I'm just trying to get over that hump of, I guess just jumping in there and doing it is the only thing.
Right, and we can tell you that. And not everyone that started with me did it. It's only maybe 5% of us that did it.
Right.
So we do know that. That's what I'm saying when I'm talking to people, I'm like, this is an experience. If you feel compelled to do it, then this is the experience. But guess what? It's more fulfilling. You're more sovereign in this area. You're not under another structure of spirituality. This is just pure energy flow. What comes out of you for healing, that's it. You can form it when you get home and say, okay, I worked with this and I did this and this person got healed. But the best thing is to let people flow and let the natural healing of the planet.
Yes.
You can be a steward of it without bringing healing to a park that has healing already on it. You flow with it. And so there are certain areas, not that you stay, but there are certain lessons in creating healing environments that trees teach you. They just teach it to you. You don't. You find yourself near one. You find yourself laying on one. Before you know it, you find yourself being one. You know, because it is. Trees do what healers do: cleanse the air, we
Mm.
feed, we root, we hold space. So your generation, which I'm excited about, your generation. I'm, and not all of you. The thing about it, the truth about it, because I'm really truthful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't want anyone to blow smoke up my butt for something, and it was like, no, you didn't tell me that this could happen.
Right.
Um, in your generation, the only thing that I can see that would greatly sort of hinder the human development of you, not the spiritual development. The spiritual development, you guys are way ahead of us
Right.
because you see it, you came with it. The human development is that it's hard for you to work together.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's hard for the spiritual people, the spiritual youth. It's hard, and I believe it's through social media because they discovered spirituality through social media. They didn't discover it outside. So it's a very individual thing, and if some two people are coming together, it's like, what do you know? What do I know? What do you know? What do I know? And I'm like, you have to surrender to the information.
I have this weird feeling there's a part of it is because a lot of the social media is so performative based. Like, there's so many people that are doing it just for the trend.
Right.
And so when someone wants to work with someone, it might have taken them like 30 takes to get what they did. And so
Right.
then they're thinking, oh, I'm going to be exposed when I get in front of
Exactly.
somebody.
Yes, and that's it. And that's the we had it, but you guys have it more because when you stand up for true light, it will offend those who are false light, and you don't know who's false light because they're performing.
It's hard to tell now.
It's hard to tell because they're performing. But uh, I'll tell you this: if they're working in a fair or a metaphysical shop, they're not performing.
Okay.
There's certain things that they're not performing. Even here on social media, and a lot on different social media platforms, there are people who are performing because they're regurgitating other words, which is the most horrific thing that can happen to their bloodline. You see people massacre their own bloodline,
Mm.
and you can't tell. No, this is a form of ascension. So this information is coded. This is spiritual information for the planet, and you say it out of alignment with the true purpose of it, you're going to call that into your life. You don't get beat, you just get proven. And you can't hold this proof. So if you're not light and you say things that are light, the universe is going to prove it through you. And so you're going to go through things because you started a universal initiation. I think people think words are just words, that they could say it and it's not going to be reflective into their life. So that's what you're finding now. And that wasn't in the beginning. That just came upon social media maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and that's where they started to fight. Because they were thinking it was each other rather than, no, you're not who you say you are. The universe is going to. We know that by working in fairs. Like if I say I am Ascension priest, the universe is going to give me the program of an Ascension priest. So I can't just say it. And the program is rigorous. We can't, because the social media never installed the wisdom into it, because they were doing something nefarious.
Man, it's crazy. I'm just having this crazy moment right now where I'm thinking of all the, like the I am affirmations that even through the years that I've done carelessly almost, because I didn't think about some of that. And then all of a sudden, especially like take like wealth, for example, or like all of a sudden I'm around people that are wealthy, but they don't have morals, or like, and then I'm miserable. I'm like, why am I surrounded by all these people like this? I'm just like clicking like, well, I probably called that to myself.
Right. Well, that's why it's always good. Like with me, I don't read books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't read books. Definitely don't read a book from beginning to end. I may read excerpts for context, but I never read another man or woman's whole thought process. it programs me.
That makes sense.
And so social media, in a sense, broke the program of reading. Because people got information in short, sort of 1 minute or 2 minute videos
Mm-hmm.
that allowed them to create their own interpretation and see that. That was amazing. Because
Mm-hmm.
before we would be, and everyone would be, because the information was so limited, everyone would know the same things and do the same things. When I was coming up, everyone did the same thing and they knew the same things, but everywhere I would go would be the same thing. And I'm like, well, why are we not allowing other trains of spiritual thought in here? And then I realized, oh, this is too a program.
Mm-hmm.
But the program, and it wasn't designed to hinder, it was designed to focus. So it ran its course. The New Age program ran its course. And it needed to be there just for us to get the foundations of what crystals are for, and in a more collective way, because we had lost everyone in America had lost their culture. So we didn't know, capitalism and Americanism sort of wiped that away. So we didn't know why we were attracted to crystals. We didn't know. It wasn't something that was taught, and you'd have to have it in your family. But, everybody's working 9 to 5. No one has time to really sit down and do that. Well, New Age sort of gave us the format on how to evolve.
Okay.
And it wasn't supposed to educate everyone. It was basically a resonance call.
Okay.
So the I am presence would resonate with you. It would resonate. It was supposed to. That's what it is there. It did its job. It resonated with me. Saint Germain resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
Saint Germain. Do I talk about it all the time? No, because it's for people who need that.
I see.
And I'm not pulling from something. Like I'm not. When you think about the collective, you have to think about depositing and withdrawals.
Mm.
That's how you have to think about it. It's like, I'm not going to make a withdrawal out of something that someone else probably can make a withdrawal and grow from. I already know it. I don't need to be telling people about it because it's a resonance thing.
Okay.
I can say, oh yeah, the I am presence, and certain people see it and it doesn't even, they never go back to it because it's not for them. They're looking for something a little bit more ancestral. And I'm like, okay, well then but I am presence is not ancestral in that regard. It's more galactic ancestry. It's more like a tradition, the transition that happened, the last age was left over. The I am presence was left over from the last age.
Okay.
So it will speak of mountains and things and hundreds of years old. And it'll speak of all of that because it happened. It actually happened. And so we don't know about it. It was left here. The I am presence it resonates deeply within our DNA, our galactic DNA. It speaks of synchronized soul travel, meaning a lot of these people you've known before. And your soul, once you say it, your soul goes, oh, wait a minute, I do know. I don't know how I know these people, but I know this could not be the first time. And it allows you to say, question why. When you question why these certain people in your life, you have to examine why you are allowing them.
I'm going through that right now.
Yeah, you have to examine, why am I allowing this person in my life? Why am I allowing it? Or I want this person in my life, why are they not in my life when I want them in my life? Let me look at what this person is saying to me. Because sometimes people are saying things to us and they're saying it from a past life. That's where we're like, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're talking about. But they're not talking to this person. They're talking to the person that you were in the past life. And they're not aware of it completely.
Interesting.
They're not aware of it. They're more like venting.
Oh yeah.
More like venting. And you're like, what? Yeah. And once you realize that this person and you are from different past lives, the moment you say it together, because then you will resonate with it, the other person will say, oh shit, it's true. I felt this from you. You know, it doesn't have to be bad. You know, a lot of people, and it can be,
Yeah.
a lot. You know, a lot of times it's not bad. It's the opposite. Like you loving someone so much that you don't want to let them go and it killed them, and then they did it to you the next life.
Mm.
They did the same thing to you the very next life, and you're like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
Or why are you doing this to me? But why are you doing this? What are we doing? What can we release each other from? Because this is a release. It's not written in books or anywhere like that. This is between two souls that only two souls know the entwinedness, the entanglement that we're in. And you can release. There's a lot of soul entanglements that there are going to be whole groups of you that just work on that. Just work on untangling the souls of people. We know it because, you know, when we don't come from a place where there's marriage, there's union. It's probably deeper than marriage. This societal marriage. So we don't come from that where it's marriage, and what I mean by that is you stop evolving as a human. It's when we come from a place where union is a thing to become more of a divine being. It's not to harness you into a reality that doesn't allow you to be an individual.
Yeah.
It doesn't change your name. Like your title. If you married someone, you're not a husband and they're not a wife. They're in union. Why do I have to give you another title?
I agree with that.
And that title has a lot of collective bad energy on it. It's like being called something that is not always a good thing.
Yeah.
And so you guys are going to break marriage. You're going to turn it because you're going to understand the soul entanglement, but also the huge benefit of it that was pushed away. Like the benefit of societal marriage is now possibly only operating at 25% of what it could be.
Yeah.
It's just only 25% because of capitalism,
Yeah.
because of extreme capitalism. When you have people who are leaving their homes for 8 to 10 hours a day, who are they truly married to?
Yeah.
They're not married to their spouse, they're married to their job. And so that was just a way to keep them more focused. Get married and work a job and have kids. We need you. We need workers. We don't care if you're happy or not. We don't care any of those things. And if you don't care, then they don't care. They don't care. And so you always have to be sovereign. And that's why you guys have this sense of like breaking how you get your money. And we're screaming at you guys like, yeah, the door's open. And we know you don't know, but we are still saying the quicker you know it, the better, the more you will change the economic outcome of this country immediately. The quicker you understand that community is where the wealth is. It's where the wealth is. Community is where the wealth is. The better that you will be more and more inclined
I hear you.
to talk more.
I hear that. I want that to be my reality now. I want that to embody that because I do believe that. I do believe that that's where the wealth is.
And if you believe that, then you will hold the space and sit right here.
Okay.
Because it does. It equals together. The wealth and community comes together. I don't think I would have gotten this far had I not been community-based. A lot of people didn't get far because they were not community-based. They were individual, my healing center, my treatment, not wanting to work with other people. They had their yoga studios, yoga studios open and close here because they're not community-based. And you can't tell it to them. You can't scream it at them. You can't say anything. I've told many people, I'm like, well, you have to give this away for free to people who can't afford it.
Yeah.
You don't have to give all of it away to people, but there's got to be something where that you're working on healing and universal law, but again, performative people do performative things, and that's why they keep falling, and they keep, I don't know what happened. Well, it was for a small group of people that eventually they were going to get burnt out by it, and because you didn't stretch, they didn't stretch. And so, but you know, we can't tell them that because they don't want to speak to natural healers. To natural healers, to them, like if I told them, why don't you do yoga in the park? Oh my God, there's too many bugs. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? You know? But that part is where the separation from authentic to not authentic enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I try to do is when I work with people, I always try to sort of say to them, let it flow, whatever comes out of you. We can put it together later, you know, and I can give you the program in the sense where this is more Reiki oriented, this is more intuitive oriented, or this is basically both, you know. Remember, I always tell your younger people to remember that they may be their own ancestor.
Yes. Cheyenne told me that a little bit ago.
Yeah.
She was having that thought a lot a couple weeks ago.
I put a video about that out, and it just sort of came out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I know that I'm my own. I worked extensively for the last 3 months in my own ancestry when I went away. And I realized that I was
I noticed that.
You noticed it?
Yeah.
Right. And I realized that I was my own ancestor.
Wow.
I realized that there was a group of ancestors that I was older than them, and they were leading me. And I said, oh no, thank you. But my consciousness is a little bit more wider than yours were when you were alive.
Yeah.
And so you're limiting me. And I believe millions of people don't have an idea that their own ancestors can limit them. You know, love can be oppressive, you know, and it goes beyond the living. It can go into the dead.
Okay.
And so I told my ancestors, and I love them dearly, but I said, no. I'm your ancestor. And the reason why I came back is because possibly you did this wrong. And not that I'm going to judge you, but I'm not coming back to move forward. I'm coming back to move forward and correct. So that my descendants and the descendants that come from me in this bloodline goes back to where they were. That's when they say partially you're the chosen one. Right. No one explains the chosen one in the terms of you know more than the rest of the people around you for a purpose. Find it.
Yeah, that term's kind of gotten twisted a little bit, I think.
Well, because it's now sort of like because of the performative people, it becomes more of the chosen ones are always beaten up, and the chosen ones, and I hear it all the time. I'm like, so what, you want to be in an army, but you don't want to wear a uniform?
Right.
Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. And yes, it hurts from time to time, but there are wonderful things that we do as chosen ones that other people can't do. And I'm always one to tell people that, like, listen, there's very few people that can walk in a room and read everyone. Chosen ones do it. Chosen ones complain that they're reading everyone, and I say, move out of a bad room. You know, don't complain. That's why you're chosen. You're different.
Yeah.
And they're not telling the younger ones there. So I generally try to tell them, like, listen, I can't candy coat this for you. It's not lollipops and butterflies. Sometimes it's someone's talking to you. Like I speak to the younger intuitives, and they suffer with this a lot. They'll say, well, Lawrence, I was picking up, they were telling me something, and I was picking up it was a lie. They were telling me a lie. And I said, no, they were telling you the truth.
Mm.
They didn't see it as a lie. You've got to stop finishing their thoughts with your own morality. And they're like, oh, I'm like,
Mm.
yes. They're
That's
not
big.
hiding something from you. First of all, they didn't ask you to read them. You're in the wrong just there. Universally, you're in the wrong. You broke a boundary. They did not agree. And because they did not agree, you never know what darkness is on them that sees you do this.
Mhm.
And says, oh, you really want something? This is what you're going to get.
I
And
see.
sends you a very negative energy because you're wrong. And so once I tell them, and I understand how they got this way, I don't think they intentionally wanted to do it.
Mhm.
It's just they didn't know the rules of intuition.
So there a very real way you can go from I'm not gonna pick up on that right now versus you can turn that off and on? What you're
Yes.
saying?
Mhm.
Okay,
You can turn it down.
turn it down at least.
Yeah, I like turning it down. And I turn it down by, first of all, know where you're going.
Mm.
Know where you're going. Don't let it surprise you. Um, I turn it down sometimes by cloaking. I'm walking here, no one's going to see me. But I'm only going to be seen by the people that I need to be seen by. That'll happen. You'll be surprised how powerful we are when we
I'm
say
learning
things.
that, but I'm just trying. Trying to figure out the practical like ways to apply that because I'm realizing how powerful I am, starting to at least.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, let's get these tools. Like I need to learn how to use these tools. That's how.
Here at Dallas will teach you. Because you will not get out of this city a weak spiritual person. Because you will be confronted on all fronts here. Um, you will go in places where there will be darkness. Well, darkness in terms of siphoning energy.
Yes.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of siphoning energy thing happening here. And you will be able to I talk to people who siphon energy sometimes. And I sometimes talk to them too long because I see the light.
Same.
Yeah, I talk to them too long. It's because I see the light in them, and I see them struggling, like help. And I'm like, listen, I can only throw you but so much, and I've only already opened up a vein.
I've overextended it right now with who I'm working for. I've overextended it, and I'm trying to figure out how to cut this tie. I don't want to talk too much on camera,
I know.
but
I know.
we can talk
It's a
about
lesson.
that too. But yeah,
It's a lesson. We all do it, and I will do it again.
yeah.
I will not. It's just I'm prone to go too far. It's a prone. But I'm aware of it, and that's 95% of the battle. That I am aware of it, and that's why I say, oh, I opened up a vein for you, meaning I know you're sucking my energy, and I'm opening up this vein. Hopefully, enough of this energy will get you on your feet. But if it's not, I'll leave you right where you're standing. And maybe someone else will do it. But the lesson for me is measurement. My measurements are off. And my measurements can be thrown off quarterly. It's not a measurement for the whole year. It could be, I could give more in the summer and less in the winter for a reason. And if I give more in the winter, I'm not a happy camper.
You need that.
I need more of me.
Yeah, that
Internal.
makes sense.
Right. I don't need to give off a lot of my energy, physical energy like
Yeah.
that. I need to, because I'm doing what the planet does, restore. And I'm part of that cycle. And if I give more in the restoring thing, I don't have a good summer either. I'm constantly trying to fill some energy gap. And it happened. It happened now. It happened. That's why I'm headed to restore now.
Good.
I'm not headed to restore like I'm weak, but I know that my journey depletes me from time to time. And so how people say, well, Lawrence, how do you restore? I go to the beach. I just said the salt water, the whole thing is just restoration. I can't explain it to you. I can't tell you the process. I can tell you this, and I've often told people this who suffer, not suffer, but work the same type of energy I work, or similar. When I approach the beach, about 10 miles or 5 miles out, I get very angry. Like
Mm.
I'm gripping the steering wheel, like, ah, I'm so agitated that
Interesting.
I cannot. It's like I just hope this light turns red. I mean green, because right now it's been red for 30 years. Like I get impatient,
Wow.
and I start to notice, like, I mean, I'm literally like grinding my teeth, right? And now I'm like, and I get out of the car, and the first thing I have to tell people, like, don't talk to me. Just let me walk on this beach. And as I walk on the beach, I get angry, and then it releases. So I went into deep meditation to figure out what that was. And Spirit told me, they're like, well, that's the work coming off of you.
Mm.
It's agitating you. It's being pulled off. The salt water, it's that as soon as it touches you, as soon as you breathe it, you could be in a car. It's going to pull that off of you.
Wow.
And it's going to agitate it like someone ripping a Band-Aid off it. Something like that. That's what it feels like. So there are a lot of people who get angry before healing,
Interesting.
and they don't go to the healing. I'm like, that is the healing. Sir, there are certain people who, before they get a massage, they're like, I'm so angry in the massage. I'm like, because you're getting ready to get healed.
Wow.
That's why. Your body is getting prepared to give up that you've been holding. We're healers. Some sage doesn't get it off all the time, and laying down on the earth doesn't get it off all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You need something like as big as an ocean, and whatever's on you cannot go against what's inside of that ocean, shall I say.
Okay.
I want to say that. And within maybe 30 or 40 minutes, I'm clean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm clean. It's good. Still on?
Yeah.
Good. Right now, for this summer, I can only tell you that this will be one of the summers that go down in history. I'm telling all my people, I feel like I just want to hug everybody because I know what's going to happen. And it's like being able to see what's going to happen, and everybody's walking around like, and they're happy, and then it happens and no one's happy. And what we experience collectively will change the consciousness on the planet immediately. Hearts will explode with love, with compassion and pain. It's supposed to. It's inevitable. And I think we all know it. We're silently not accepting what we all slightly feel as inevitable. People ask me, well, Lawrence, can we change it? It has to happen. It has to happen. It's above the human consciousness now. It has always been above the human consciousness. The only thing that the human consciousness could have changed was how it happened. And we chose this path. We will eventually balance out and fight. This country is going to lead it, though.
Yeah.
This country is going to lead the world. I think a lot of people from other countries don't actually know who we are.
Well, I'm not surprised by that.
No.
The way we've been lately.
Right. Well, they don't know the human to human. They know the government, but they don't know the American people. And that's a big difference.
Yeah.
That's a big difference on how they approach us in general. They don't know us as a people. They don't see Americans as a collective tribe of people.
They view us as our government.
They view us as our government.
Wow.
And that part was a lesson for them to wake up on, because they were unaware that the roots of this country. They without knowing, they benefited from the roots of the country without acknowledging that we even had roots. And that part right there is, they're going to learn a lesson in what this country really is. And the beautiful part and the ugly part, the whole part. Because Americans have been living the whole part. We don't know how to live other than the whole part of America. Well, like we don't believe, well, it's not like we don't believe. We see our media as just what it is, our media. It's not us. And I don't think other people from other countries know that about us. Because when they talk about us, they talk about us like we're the government, like there's not billions of people that created.
Oh, Americans this, Americans
Yeah,
that.
Americans that. They don't say people from the Midwest this. We say people from the southern region of your country. We say that.
Right.
We say that. We don't say your whole country. People from the northern region of your country. We say that. We don't just say the whole country. So they're getting ready, and they didn't understand. They did. I don't know how that happened, but they did not understand the fundamental beginnings of this country, the fundamental, who's a citizen and how we got here. So that part right there, they're waking up to.
Okay.
They're waking up to that part. How does that affect them? This country will produce Americans. It's not going to bend. It will produce Americans. And Americans are powerful people. I love this country. My family died in all the wars in this country, you know. Service is just in us, you know. Do we agree with America's doing out in the world? No. Do we agree that America's fair? No, we don't. We've been fighting it too. But we love America. We're not fighting for a sinking ship. You know what I mean? We're not fighting for a sinking ship. That's not what this is. And a lot of spiritual people say, well, Lawrence, why do you get into conversations like that? I'm like, we've got to stop sectioning off spirituality like it's on the mountain, on the grove here, and then we cannot talk about regular things. You know, we have our biases. I'm like, yes, get me in a room with other spiritual people. Let's have the bias conversation. I could at least work with you on it because you might be aware. So yeah, I was biased. Okay, it's the program. We're not saying you. It's the program. We watch the same program. We all watch the same program, so we can understand. Oh yeah, you got that program. Okay, that doesn't mean you need to fix it immediately or anything like that. No, just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it. You know, you can't fix it until you're ready to fix it, but you could acknowledge it. You know, I think that's the oppression on the country is not. Of course, nobody wants to be oppressed, but acknowledge that you're doing it. That's the step that needs to take. And so I'm an American shaman for many reasons. I guess the first reason is that I love the country. Like I never want to live anywhere else. I don't want to die another place here. I haven't even seen all of the states of this country. Texas is huge.
Yeah.
I haven't even been to El Paso yet. You know what I mean? I'm like, how can I be done? People say, well, I'm going out of the country. I'm like, okay, you can, but what about Montana? I've never been to Montana. I want to go to Montana. You know, I want to go to Utah. I've never been to, you know, parts of this country that, and I don't mean touristy go, like I want to get out and figure out hey people, what are we doing here and stuff like that, because it's a life. I'm an American. I want to go throughout my country. This is why I'm here. You know, this is why I couldn't leave and then, you know, but I love America. And spiritually, Americans, one thing I will always say about Americans, when our back is up against the wall, the true love of us comes out. When there are no authorities and we are surviving a catastrophic, whatever, hurricane, tornado, nobody cares what color you are. We're like, hey, you got lights, you got food. And if you are one of those people that were mean to people, well, no one's coming over. No one's coming down into that block to help you. And that is what that is. But it's the truth of America. But if true Americans will help each other, true people will help each other, you know. And I believe that comes back to us because something occurs that we have to depend on each other.
And it's you and others have said It's summer, like
Yes,
this summer.
it had already started.
Okay. Yeah.
It already started, and it's just we're waiting for the shoe. Everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop. We just don't know where it's going to drop, but it's getting a lot closer to America from the last 6 months. It's getting closer to us that it might drop here,
Yeah.
because we have a bunch of people who are programmed not to divide. They're programmed to divide, and they seem to be doing a really good job at it. Um, and they seem to be wanting to sort of burn the whole entire, just burn everything, take everything down.
It frustrates me because we give those people so much credit, the dividers, so much credit, like they're doing all this powerful stuff. But it's like, on some level, we have to take responsibility for like people to people. Like
Right.
that's where the power is. We obviously have the numbers. It's just
Right.
it's so frustrating me because it's like we treat these people like they're gods,
Right.
but they're not.
Right. Well, they created a program where we keep seeing them as the leaders,
Right.
and then they shoot us up with mind-altering drugs. So they have layered us, but they're not. And the only way history continually repeats itself with these people. That's why we know it's going to happen to them. We're like, okay, this is the fall of the Roman Empire. How many of you people show up and do this extreme hate war thing, and then we don't hear from you? Whatever happens, then we don't hear from you until you come back maybe 700, 800, 900 years
Is
later.
that because they just go into hiding? Do they just take?
They're
them?
destroyed.
They just get destroyed.
Yeah, they're destroyed. That's why. And we look at them like you will be the ones. Yeah, we destroyed. They're destroyed. And they. What I mean by destroyed, meaning the snapback is so harsh that people are just sick of the consciousness, so they eradicate it.
Yeah.
They eradicate people who have hate in their heart. They like, you go over there, you sit over there, and it goes away. And people love until it happens again. But with this new age, this ascension process that's happening right here, it's more or less we leave their reality. Physically, we're with them, but we leave their reality. The new reality begins to take hold and the energy of it. Now, I will tell you this, the betrayal wasn't just humans. There's another layer of ascension where we end up fighting again. To be an ascension priest or priestesses or light worker is to be a warrior of the unseen. We fight the unseen. When we realize that we have been betrayed, higher dimensional beings with lower consciousness. Just like we can go from high to low, we can go from low to high, they can go from high to low.
I've always been so curious why, and I don't know if you're ever allowed to. Anyways, I'm always curious about why it happened. Like these people, these beings that are higher than us, like why would they betray? Like why would they betray other like us? Like I just don't understand why they would do. They're already so powerful, or like they're already so beyond.
Are they powerful or are we? You see, some of this is a lie. That's what ascension we're discovering. Like, oh, wait a minute, this is a lie. Because if left on my own accord, I wouldn't be looking for you. But why are you looking for me?
Right.
Right, I'm supposed to be this low? Why am I? But you're looking for me.
But you're always worried about where I'm at.
And you're always, always wondering where. And whenever you fight me, it's always a jump. It's always a sneak. Why can't you just say, I don't like you, let's go outside and let's fight? You don't, because you know I'll win.
Wow.
That's the fear program to keep us saying, oh, really? So if I don't run, what would you do? What are you gonna take my life? Is that what this is? So because you can't. You need me to be fair because you want to eat it. And then you want to tether to me. And so yes, there'll be fight. We will fight the unseen. those who are doing things that other humans can't see and making their lives miserable, we're going to start to see them.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do, that's why I say this, the eradication, what we're going to do to them is they already know what's going to happen. They already know. The reason why we were going to do this is because it's off balance. It was an infection into the galaxy.
Mm.
It infected everything. And people had to, we made the choice to be good, just like it here. We make the choice to do good. There's others that are making the choice to not to do so good.
Yeah.
And they think that we can't eradicate. We can't say, okay, you know what? It's more of us than it is of you. What are you thinking? Same thing. When we run into these, what happened is that these creatures got to a certain level and they fell toward power, third dimensional power. So they can't move up. They're not on the upper realms. They're in that gray area between two dimensions that we have to cross over. And that's when we're realizing, hey, uh, why are you in my business? Like, why are you in my spiritual business? Why are you monitoring me?
For real.
Why are you in my spiritual business? Why are you monitoring me? I'm suffering. Why don't you help? If you're here to help, why don't you help? And I'm possibly helping myself. Now, there are other beings that are higher that are helping.
Mm-hmm.
They are helping. But we're talking about that day-to-day being
Mm-hmm.
that is always around us. And you'll realize. And then there are light workers, gray light workers, that draw them into our community. Those are the ones that really have a lot of jealousy and envy for other light beings. And so they use these beings to set up metaphysical shops to trap us.
Wow.
That's why most people will tell you about the owners of some of these, not all of them, but the owners of some of these metaphysical shops are vampires. They're vampires. They come, they're not nice to you. They always want to pull energy. And those shops will collapse because no one will go to them anymore. And they may end up in a fight. See, what happens is that they attach themselves to someone that they think doesn't have a lot of energy and ends up having a powerhouse of energy.
Mm.
They don't realize, they think they're sneaking up on us. They don't think we're sneaking up on them. Because they've never really lost. Because if you fight someone who's blindfolded, but when you take the blindfolds off, it's like, no, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I see you walk across the room, I see you do this, and keep it up. I'm not even going to tell you I see you. I'm going to wait till you get real close, and I'm going to grab you. I'm going to send you to the outer world. They don't want us to send them to the outer world. The outer world is where they get stardusted. Stardust is they go into the original. That means that they lose all power, all memory, all everything. They start all over as a young soul. And that takes millions of years to do. And how we can, they know we can do it.
Wow.
That's why they don't want to give us the words like that. And I always tell people, if they're not right, send outer world. And don't do it, ask the universe if they're wrong. Don't just say it to every being. That's why social media is so hard, because they just say these words, you know. But yeah, if you are of a certain light area like you, and you're like, listen, I don't need to have people follow me that are not for me. And if you're not for me, and you're against me, I have the ability to cast you out because you came into my energy. How are you telling me what I need to say and not say? You could have just not walked into my energy, wouldn't have this. So you don't have the right to tell me how I should evacuate you. And you have to be sure. I evacuate you to the outer realm. And that outer realm is going to read your signature. And if it's not right, boom. I'm not calling the cops. I'll send you to the precinct.
Mm-hmm.
Different. Spiritual awakening, I'm going to call my angels. Ascension, I'm going to send you to where the authorities are.
Yeah.
Because you're in my energy field. And I can just envision you there and leave you.
Well, that's only right. I mean, that's only fair.
There are certain laws, but you have to be mature enough in the ascension to be able to understand them and not create more division. So that's why it's enough people to ascend, but we're working through those because I guess the Ascension people are probably, to me, the most attacked because we don't fit in any race or culture. So very few people understand us all the time.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
that.
very few people understand us. They know there's something about us, but they don't understand us, and that's okay. That's why we're in a city like Dallas that has more Ascension people. In Charlotte, they had them, but they're not to the level. Dallas is truly, and I always say it, and every time I come back, I'm always at awe at the spiritual education that I received in Dallas. It's like no other. No, wherever I travel in communities, they're beautiful communities. But Dallas is such a layered school of medicine. There's metaphysicians, there's shamanics, there's ancestral priests, there's so many that you have collective access to it. So you don't have to, you can just lay in your bed and pull down an Akashic thought. That's what I mean by being in a group. You don't have to physically see them. So I love Charlotte. Charlotte was it was ancestral. They are more, there's a city filled with nurses and mental health professionals. So they collectively are caught in the human experience. They don't know about the galactic experience. So they're collectively caught there. Although we also filled with mental health professionals and nurses, we have more of a shamanic energy, that very strong undercurrent that rolls through everything here. And it allows us to think beyond the human. This summer, I'll be traveling through Texas. I'm not leaving Texas. I'm going to be traveling through Texas. I want everyone to know this, though. Find where there's fresh water. Find where there's fresh water. Just know where it is. You don't have to go to it, but you must know where it is. Know how to make do not think that you're going to go to the store and buy candles. Know how to make an oil lamp. All that oil you have in your house, go get a wick, some twine, put it in a metal container, pour oil in it, anchor, tie the twine around a rock so that it anchors in. Cut it. Begin to start to make your oil lamps now. Oil will be cheap. You have gallons of it. Oil will burn for hours. You can cook with it. You can boil water with it. So fire and water, number one. You can't do anything. You can have a whole closet full of food, dried food, but if you can't cook it and you can't keep yourself, you can't drink any water, then you're in trouble. So I don't sense that Texas is going to be hit hard, but the states around us will be. And they will be running it. Texas will close its borders. The states that have many resources will immediately close its borders so that others don't get in. You will have to have a state license that says Texas. Oklahoma is fine, a bit. Oklahoma and Texas sort of blends.
Yeah.
It blends. I don't think they're stopping people from Oklahoma, but possibly Louisiana and Arkansas a little bit. They may stop some of them because it's an exodus.
Yeah.
That will be coming across.
Interesting.
What we've been watching in the deportations and what we've been watching in Palestine, that's going to show up here.
Did you see the Florida prison they're putting in there?
The prison, yes, yeah. They did that one. They have one in Atlanta. They've been doing them.
Yeah, people are starting to talk about it now.
Because now they see who's going to go in.
Yeah.
They didn't know who was going to go in. Now they see who's going to go in. And I'll say this: slavery really never ended, and we have to accept sort of they've just used slavery in different ways, and so it's going to come. That prison, none of that's going to work.
No.
None of that's going to work. It's just going to anger more people. None of that's going to work. All of that is going to, in fact, they will just shuffle with actually. They're just going to move a whole bunch of people in an area and then have to release them into the world. That's what's going to happen. These are people being, and some of this is divine. Some of these deportations, their lives are being saved. They don't get it. We're like, no, some of you don't know what this country will do to you. Like you have no idea the level. You don't have the backing, and if you don't have anyone to stand up for you, these people, you have no idea. Like the Asians, also, they know about the internment camps. They know what can happen when there. We all know it, but I think the this particular Hispanic population doesn't quite get that this is happening too fast
Yeah.
for it to, like, you can't even, it's happening too fast. The plan is being executed way too fast. We can't catch up. That means that they know of a certain time, and if you don't have enough resistance, you can't slow it down, so it's moving. So you have to make that decision to, I often say to the Spanish population, we're your spiritual elders. Right now, this is a time for a spiritual elder to speak, and speak in the form of their ancestors, their spirituality. And I don't think I've seen one.
Wow.
I don't think I've seen one shaman get on and say, this is what spirit is saying, this is what is happening. And it shows. And it also shows, and I'm sure they have their own ways, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but it also shows a disconnection from their spiritual elders.
Mm-hmm.
And we have it here too, so I know what it is. I'm just looking at an example of how that can happen, and the ramifications by the younger people, not for the older people, not to be to step in, or not give them the platform to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, not give them the platform to speak and guide others. There will be mayhem. This month 7. 7's a lucky month, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lucky month at the same time, because I will tell you this: you cannot. You cannot have destruction without construction. You cannot have hate without love. So this summer, they're going to incite hate, and what's going to come out is love. They actually are, but it's a lot of destruction that happens. You have to be, there are a lot of people who are not flexible enough. There are a lot of people their minds will break. There are a lot of people who can't walk a block. They literally cannot walk a block. And so their physical vessel doesn't survive. And these are Americans. These are not immigrants coming in. And they're not even illegal. The legal immigrants can walk for miles. These are Americans that can't walk a block.
Wow.
And there's millions of them. And they may need to get out of the way. Not that whatever happened, they can't be moved. And I'm saying to many of them, if any of your medication, first of all, try to slim down your medication, and if you can find a healthy alternative plant life, do it. I've also been telling people, you have to start walking. And they're like, what? I was like, no, you've got to start hiking. because I know what's going to happen. If you are by the side, it happened in Louisiana. If you can't make it, they're going to cover you up and put you by the side of the road. That's. But if you can walk, and if you need to live, because it will be a life or death situation daily, you will not be able to depend on everyone. You will not be able to depend on everyone. You will. There will be people who will be caught in their homes, $1 million homes, with nothing to eat.
Mm.
They will have nothing to eat. They will not know how to. They will have acres of land and not know how to plant. When we mean America's coming back, that's coming back. The average person knowing how to put a crop together. Not only do they know how to put a crop together, they're going to know what type of soil. We are getting ready to get back into our land. Now that equals a playing field because there will be nobody to do it but us. And so that's what's happening. America's getting ready to be dependent on America again.
Mm-hmm.
So it has this ebb and flow to it.
Makes sense.
Wow. And because we do that, we shift the cost of products around the world. There will be no more $4,000 shoes. If Americans make them, they're not going to make $4,000 shoes. We're going to go back to $15, $20. We're going to shift all the products. We're going to drop this exorbitant, I'm a quadrillionaire, millionaire. That will stop. That will stop. You will not be allowed to have a house. You live in a house, and the house is the size of a building. You will not be allowed to do that. There will be balance on the land. Exercise will be primary number one thing. Americans will be healthy again. Americans will be healthy again. We will be healthy not out of fear. It's just when you get in the land and you get your hands in the soil, you're growing food for your family, there's no such thing as a gym. There's no such thing. Your daily life is enough exercise for you. Mm-hmm. Peace, sleeping, literally sleeping outside will drop your heart rate, your blood pressure. Wow. Fresh air. What we're lacking, you know what's causing us to be severely depressed? We are lacking oxygen.
Just from being inside?
Just from being inside. Right. Our brain doesn't get the oxygen.
I can see that.
Yeah. Just by mere oxygen, our brain doesn't get the oxygen, and our cells don't get the oxygen. So we're living in a depleted perspective. We don't get to clear things, but that's also another thing why I tell people, come out, oxidize your blood. That's what it is. Don't just say I feel good while I'm outside. I'm going to feel better because I'm going to breathe. I'm going to oxidize my blood. I'm going to get some oxygen in the blood. I'm going to open up my eyes. I might stretch, but I'm going to get some oxygen because I don't have it in this house. It's recycled. It's recycled. And my cells need to regenerate healthy. They don't need to regenerate in a way that is sort of like they are in increments. It's like I need to regenerate all the time. Yes. Ask me one more question. I can't believe I have enough space on my phone.
Yeah, it's been rolling the whole time. Let me think. Because I really wanted to get into that part of it, the survival part today, because I've seen you talking about it, and I've been thinking about that a lot. But let me think about what else. I would say for the people that necessarily don't have to travel too far, if for in that situation, should they like set up? What's the most effective way that they can start working with people? Like just get on some land and start planting, or what should be like? Where should we? What should we think
soil.
of? The soil.
First, you need to start to see if your soil is fertile.
Okay.
Enough to grow food.
Do you just test that, or you just
have a soil test?
Okay.
I think they do them at all the nurseries.
Okay.
Just have a soil test, but you can basically, or like I do, find out what you like to eat.
Okay.
Find out what you want to grow. If it's like I eat a lot of salad, so I'm going to grow a lot of kale.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that I have kale or lettuce, but I kind of like kale. Sometimes I do some squash. squash, and I need to know how much squash that I need, because I don't want to grow something that I don't eat. I don't want to grow a bunch of it because I can't. I want to grow herbs. So I'm going to do my sage. I want to do the things that cleanse mint. There's some mint that cleanses me. Rosemary. I want to grow some rosemary. I want to grow, okay, I got it. This is what I've been telling people to do in Charlotte and different areas that they can do. When you're in the forest or you're someplace, even here, grab a handful of seeds and just throw them. Because that's how we used to. We didn't have manicured crops. It was some corn was growing next to some squash. And those mixtures of nutrients.
Really, it was mixed like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, just throw it.
Okay.
Just throw it. Because it was like, yeah, just throw it in the soil. Whatever's going to survive will grow, it'll be strong. It'll be strong. Yeah. And take back the land. You know, because they cut down all the fruit-bearing trees in America. That's why we don't have fruit-bearing trees. But if we started to plant fruit-bearing trees,
I wish.
right?
Yeah.
We can just. My friend does. He has. Well, he's a family member. Really, he's family. They have pears tree. They have an apple tree.
Nice. Very nice.
Right. And it's just like, yeah, let me plant it. I think they got it from their country. They got it from somewhere because I don't think they had it. But I always tell people, you know, if you have a pear, you know, if you're eating stuff, just I sometimes, and I don't do it all the time, but I just have plain container, plastic container. Put some paper towel. I kind of moisten it a bit, lay it down, and I kind of leave it out. So if I'm having watermelon seeds or if I'm having anything, I just lay it on the paper towel.
Okay.
So it germinates like that. And then before you know it, you'd be surprised. Peppers. I have green peppers that I'm throwing away seeds for, but I'm buying a pepper. You know, I just throw it there. It starts to germinate and just put it in a plant. You just put it in a little soil.
Yeah.
Transfer it. A little soil. And it grows in your house. It's a plant. You know, we have plants in our house, but they could be fruit bearing. They should be fruit bearing. You know, hot peppers, all those things that we go and buy. Even here, there's parts of White Rock Lake where I've thrown some seeds, and I forget them. I'm like, oh, okay. I might have thrown some squash, and I see it coming up, but the animals eat it. Good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, good, good. The animals eat it. You know, even if it's, why not? You know, why not? You're gonna throw them away.
I feel led to ask one more question. It's so when people are starting to walk around, people are like march in for the survival part. When they come across another person or they come across like a group of people, what? I think I'm asking this for the people right now, so I'm trying to word it the right way. But
Okay.
what should someone's approach be like? Because I feel like a lot of people are gonna be afraid when they cross someone. They're gonna want like their resources, so they're just gonna be afraid of people. Like,
Yes.
what's the approach there?
Well, I think there will be people who are survivalists. And those survivalists are people who will be like, I need to survive. I don't share my resources. I prepare things like that. They will be the anti-survivalists. Like, they won't survive because they don't have the oneness concept. What they will have will run out. And by the time it runs out, there'll be no one around because people would have left that town. So what happens is that that's why we are in tune and becoming more intuitive and more turned on. It will be an energy. You won't be able to hide it.
Okay.
People will just look at you and a group of them will say, and then someone said, no, I don't feel a good energy. And then it'd be like, it's a collective thing. It always stays in the collective. Not one person, it has to be more. So yes, and then there will be people who will want to have their own community. They're going to want America to go back to where it used to be. And it will take them years to realize that it will never go back. But they had it good. But they can't make their brain won't allow them to make the shift. Their brain won't allow them to make the shift. And they're there to teach us a lesson as what not to be after the transition too.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're there to teach, and it's a lot of them.
Okay.
It's a lot of. It's not. It's a lot of them. Uh, Ultimately, we lead the world in pure sovereignty and freedom. Ultimately, and we do this with force. There's a force that we have against total oppression. We win, um, but we also, the light community is also refined and filtered out. We find that there were a lot of those that were working against the evolution of light through infiltrating. A lot of that's here. There's a lot of infiltration. These are the ones that are upset.
Mm.
You can always tell someone's different because they're constantly upset. It's like, and they're not doing anything because what happened was that they got to the point where they were saying that they were light, that they drew darkness to them. They were not here to fight dark. They were here to fight us.
Mm.
So they were not equipped to fight someone who really doesn't care about them. It's those people who are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
The true light people, the darkness already knows that we can win. But they're picking off those low-hanging fruit, those false TikTokers and false things that hang low, that everything they say is like a song, like that. And we're like, no, you basically a dog whistling for them to come for you. We can tell you're not strong enough. We can tell you're so frightened at this point that you're constantly speaking what's in your head out to everyone because they're coming for you. They're gonna come for you because they don't have too many switches. Like they don't have complex switches, you know. You saying this is what you are, then we're gonna challenge and they're gonna come for you. They're not saying, oh, you were performative, I don't wanna go, I didn't really. So they get done. And when I mean they get done, they don't even have the tools, the internal tools, to stop the inward attack.
I see.
What they're there to do is to stop the performative. When it costs them their mental capacity, they'll stop performing. But we also pick them up and say, okay, you got called for it, you got beat up. If you survive it, here's the right path.
Yeah.
That's why we don't do that. That's why we don't say that. That's why we don't want a million people looking at us, and we're not equipped to handle a million eyes on our aura.
Mm-hmm.
You're not equipped to handle a million eyes on your aura. You're not equipped to be tied to a million people like that, you know. We knew early on that actors that were on TV, on the movies, they die early due to their aura being depleted.
Ah, okay.
That's why they don't go out, you know, it's an aura thing. It's a human thing. That's not something being replicated and digitized throughout the world is not something that was a human in it. It wasn't a human environment. It wasn't our human environment to do that. It was something that was imposed upon us. Well, now you have the average citizen who's not grounded enough to have a million people looking at them. You're not grounded enough for that. And these people are not looking at you for good. Some of them are looking at you for evil. And so those evils resonate with you. And now you are on mood stabilizers and everything. And the last thing they're thinking about is their TikTok channels doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing they're thinking because they don't think like when they're going to sleep, people are, you could be in your sleep and people are looking at you're active 24/7. Your picture's there, your voice is there, something like that. I knew this. What grounded me is that most elders that we didn't start in social media, so we don't have the hook like that. We are pretty much grounded in this is a tool, not a vehicle like that.
I see.
It's just a tool that we can use. The vehicle is the reality. I ride the vehicle, I don't ride social media.
Yes.
And so we teaching the younger people, like, listen, you've got to show and prove. The moment that they see you outside doing something real, the energy of protection comes in because the more authentic you are, the more protected you are.
I see.
Those who are getting hit in certain ways, the reason why, they're not who they say they are. They're not who they say they are. That's why they're always fighting. "Ah, I don't want this, and that's why there's always, I'm proving to be stronger. And anybody who has to walk up to another person and say you're powerful is a leech and a vampire. Most white people don't walk up to other white people measuring their power.
Mm-hmm.
And I often tell some of the younger people, like, don't allow they have to say truth to you. See, there's certain laws
Okay.
to speaking to us. When people say how powerful you are, and you think, oh, you're so powerful, you're giving them access to your house.
Okay.
That's why they're saying it. They want access to your house. They want you to agree what they're saying. And they go, oh yeah, I'm powerful, and start talking, yeah, you're powerful, because they don't have power, because whatever they're getting ready to do that to that person happened to them. That's why we call them vampires. A vampire will make another vampire. That's what we mean by that.
Okay.
You got sucked to the point that you now don't understand, because it drops your consciousness. When they siphon you, they drop your consciousness. You might have had your own power, and then you forgot how you got it. And then you go around seeking other power. So it's, I always tell the younger ones, and it's hard for them to understand, do not let anyone tell you about your power. When I talk to you guys, I'm not telling you about your power, you already have it. I'm like, show it to me. Let it rip. They used to do it more, now they don't do it as much, because we've stepped in. We've said, no, that's not something that you say in my event.
Good.
And they've stopped it. But before, they were really going at it. Or they were doing these drum circle things where they would allow dark entities to mix with angelic entities,
Interesting.
so that they can create confusion in the angels.
Wow.
And then suck with them. And they did that here for a while. They didn't even want me there in the place, because they knew that I was liked. And they were like, you're no longer allowed in our club, our space. Because I was like, no, this is not right. I literally feel you doing a dark spell as we beat these drums in the back. I literally feel you get up and do that, and feel you. And they're like, oh, you could, like, yeah, we could feel that. Why would you think you would sneak up on light people and don't think that a light person would sneak up on you?
Yeah.
And when I say it to them, they're like, yeah, I can watch you. I don't have to be in the room, and I can see you. You've been used to slaughtering the innocent so long that you've gotten weak. They're frightened of us because we speak the truth to them, like, you've gotten weak. You've been feeding yourself off the innocent like sheep, and you've been eating and you've gluttoned yourself. You don't even hide that you're dark anymore. You think you fooled the world. And that happened in Charlotte. Charlotte, I had to pull out a very dark being.
Wow.
Did I go there to do that? No. I didn't go there to do that. Was that part of my mission? I didn't know, and then when it came to me, I was told, yeah, you have to save some of these people. You have to save them. And because it was on my father's side, ancestral land, my great-grandfather came here. It was almost like I knew it from 150 years ago, and it was still there, and when I walked upon it, it showed up. And I said, no, you won't.
Okay.
And so they experienced a fight. And they're better because of it. You know, I stood up to what was there and said, no, you don't get to banish people or work dark magic on people and go back to holding a crystal and saying, oh,
Yeah.
you know, you don't get to do that anymore. Not on my watch. And I'm telling other elders, suit up.
Yeah.
Suit up right now. You stop this from happening.
Good.
Stop this from happening. Stop watching, because I don't want to see you guys go through what we went through. It thinned our herd. There were many of us, but because of that, there's not as many of us. Because you really have to put your back up against the wall and say, we're getting ready. I will defend this mission with my life. They're not willing. The darkness is not willing to defend it with their life. So when I went into Charlotte, I had to remove um, a false light that had gotten so full that it thought that I was coming. It brought me there to slice me open and eat me.
Wow.
It was licking its lips at me. And when I turned around, I says, "Oh, really? So you must believe everyone is weak now." Like, and it did. It believed that everyone. And I says, "No, I'm not going to be." And the only thing I did was expose it.
Mhm.
I didn't have to fight. I was like, "I'm just going to expose you for who you really are."
Wow.
And if you want to meet me on a forum, it wasn't like you'll meet me and we'll talk about it, but it will be exposed. I will go live. Everyone will see who you are. Ran away and sent a big message out to the Charlotte community that others are coming. They're not. We're not from. We are coming from cities where we have sacrificed far more than they can even imagine to get there. And so, yes. When people told you years ago, yes, the light will fight. That there will be a fight on the upper levels.
Mhm.
The fight will be cleaning things out, um, and and I'm talking about all. We owe that to your generation. That's what it is. It's like, because the generation before me fought.
Mhm.
They fought hard. Like, when they were telling me, they're like, "Oh, you can do that in the park in the open." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "That would have never happened when I was your young age. When I was your age, young man, that would have never." Howard, they were like 70 something years. They was like, "We could never do what you can do
Mhm.
like that." And I knew that they fought because they were still there,
Yeah.
and they fought. And so I say to you, you should, like, here, you have access to this park.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that it will always be there. They could just say to us, "No." And that's why sometimes I say, keep coming here.
Mhm.
Keep coming here. We work too hard. Even there are people who you don't know that have put in years just to keep this,
Mm.
and they walk away because they want to come back to it. They want to come back 5 years later and say, "I need to come back to the park," and they need it to be exactly how they left it.
Mhm.
It saves lives. Um, so yes, I say that you um, put your energy into here. Put your energy here. Start off here. Start off here.
Okay.
Start off right here. You know the woman that you helped heal, who when we first met, when we
Mhm.
first came in, she had cancer.
Caroline?
Caroline,
Yeah.
cured.
No kidding.
Cured.
That's
I
really
just
awesome.
found out she was a family member's friend. We were friends. My niece is her good friend.
I'm
And
gonna stop this. I feel
yes,
like we
yeah, we